Those who are unable to find a seat in this hall are requested to proceed to hall number 6 in the second floor, please. We request everyone to kindly settle down fast. We repeat once again, those who are unable to find a seat here are requested to proceed to hall number 6 at the second floor. There is an additional arrangement which has been made there. The event will be live streamed even from the hall number 6 in the second floor. Those who are unable to find a seat here are requested to proceed to hall number 6 at the second floor. The honorable dignitaries have arrived. May I request everyone to kindly rise to welcome them. Everyone is requested to kindly settle down.
नमस्कार, सभी को शुभ संध्या। माननीय अतिथिगण एवं उपस्थित देवियों और सज्जनों, विज्ञान भवन के इस भव्य एवं विराट सभागार में आयोजित हो रहे ऐतिहासिक कार्यक्रम प्रारंभ 2026 के इस गरिमामयी अवसर पर मैं पूरन
और मैं प्रियंका
आप सभी का हृदय की अंतरतम गहराइयों से हार्दिक अभिनंदन और स्वागत करते हैं। हमें अत्यंत हर्ष और गौरव का अनुभव हो रहा है कि आज हम सभी एक ऐसे महत्वपूर्ण अवसर के साक्षी बन रहे हैं जो भारत की प्रत्यक्ष कर व्यवस्था के विकास और आधुनिकीकरण की दिशा में एक नया अध्याय जोड़ रहा है।
प्रारंभ, which stands for Policy Reform and Responsible Action for Mission Viksit Bharat, marks the beginning of a new era in taxpayer-centric legislation and administration. At its core, it recognizes the vital role of taxpayers, stakeholders, and citizens in realizing the vision of a Viksit Bharat. It is my privilege, on behalf of the Central Board of Direct Taxes, to extend a warm welcome to our distinguished guests. Honorable Union Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, Revenue Secretary, Shri Arvind Srivastava, Chairman CBDT, Shri Ravi Agarwal, Chairman CBIC, Shri Vivek Chaturvedi, Honorable members of CBDT and CBIC, senior officers from the Government of India, all principal CCIT of the regions who have joined via live streaming, distinguished guests from industry, academia, and the media, and the entire आयकर परिवार।
आप सभी का पुनः हृदय से अभिनंदन। आप सभी की गरिमा में उपस्थिति के साथ अब बढ़ते हैं कार्यक्रम के औपचारिक शुभारंभ की ओर। भारतीय संस्कृति में दीप प्रज्वलन केवल एक परंपरा नहीं, बल्कि प्रत्येक शुभारंभ का मंगल संकेत है। आज जब हम प्रारंभ 2026 के इस ऐतिहासिक अवसर पर एक नए आयकर अधिनियम के राष्ट्रव्यापी जागरूकता अभियान के शुभारंभ के साक्षी बन रहे हैं, तो यह दीप प्रज्वलन एक ऐसे कर प्रशासन की दिशा में हमारे संकल्प का प्रतीक है जो सरल, सुगम और नागरिक केंद्रित हो।
I now respectfully invite the distinguished dignitaries on the dais to kindly light the ceremonial lamp and inaugurate the program.
शारदा विद्याधनी शारदा विद्याधर शारदा विद्याधर सरस्वती वाकवाणी सरस्वती वाकवाणी जग जानी मानी ध्यान भवानी दयानी कल्याणी शारद विद्याधनी शारद विद्याधर सोहत कमलासनी सोहत कमलासन बाजत वीणा ध्वनि बाजत वीणा ध्वनि हंस हंसवाहिनी सुहानी सुमानी सुज्ञानी शारदा विद्याधर शारदा विद्याधर शारदा शारदा शारद विद्याधर 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 शारदा.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. The ceremonial lighting of the lamp was accompanied by the Saraswati Vandana, rendered by Sri Ayush Dwivedi, along with his vocal ensemble from Drupad Kendra, Kanpur. I now request the Chairman, Central Board of Direct Taxes, Sri Ravi Agarwal, to kindly welcome our chief guest, the Honorable Union Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, with a sapling, shawl, and a memento as a mark of our respect and gratitude.
तंजावुर की जिस उत्कृष्ट कलाकृति को आज हम माननीय अतिथि को सम्मान, कृतज्ञता और भारत की समृद्ध कलात्मक धरोहर के प्रतीक के रूप में भेंट कर रहे हैं, वो वास्तव में भारतीय कला की अनुपम धरोहर है, जो अपनी स्वर्ण आभा, सूक्ष्म नक्काशी और आध्यात्मिक अभिव्यक्ति के लिए विश्व भर में प्रसिद्ध है। यही कारण है कि तंजौर पेंटिंग को केवल एक चित्रकला नहीं, बल्कि आस्था, परंपरा और भारतीय सांस्कृतिक विरासत का सजीव प्रतीक माना जाता है।
I now request Member Admin CBDT Shri Pankaj Kumar Mishra to kindly present a sapling, shawl and a memento to the respected Revenue Secretary Shri Arvind Srivastava as a token of our appreciation and warm welcome. Thank you, respected dignitaries.
कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाते हुए अब मैं आमंत्रित करता हूं आयकर विभाग के कुशल नेतृत्वकर्ता माननीय अध्यक्ष केंद्रीय प्रत्यक्ष कर बोर्ड श्री रवि अग्रवाल को, जिन्होंने देश की कर प्रणाली को अधिक सरल और करदाता केंद्रित बनाने में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाई है। माननीय अध्यक्ष केंद्रीय प्रत्यक्ष कर बोर्ड, मैं आपसे विनम्र अनुरोध करता हूं कि आए और अपने मुख्य वक्तव्य से हमें संबोधित करें।
Honorable Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, ma'am, Revenue Secretary Shri Arvind Srivastav, Chairman CBIC Shri Vivek Chaturvedi, members of the Central Board of Direct Taxes, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I warmly welcome you all to the launch of PRARAMBH, which signifies the start and also stands for policy reform and responsible action for Mission Viksit Bharat. The presence of young trainee officers of the IRS who shall be at the helm of tax administration in 2047 adds significance to the event. The Income Tax Act 2025 received the assent of the Honorable President on 21st August 2025, was notified thereafter, and will be implemented from 1st April 2026. This marks an important moment in our tax administration journey. With the new Act 2025 now in place, our collective responsibility is to ensure that the transition is smooth, well understood, and taxpayer-friendly across the country. This transition is not only about the new law. The corresponding rules and forms have also been notified so that the taxpayers are supported at every stage with clarity, simplicity, and confidence. It has also involved process re-engineering in certain processes and procedures with a view to reducing compliance burden. If I may say, the scale of simplification is significant. The total number of forms have been reduced from 396 to 190, a reduction of nearly 52%. And in some cases, this simplification is expected to spare compliance requirements for more than 6 crore transactions that were applicable earlier. More than 2,200 FAQs and guidance notes for 186 forms have also been prepared to help taxpayers navigate the new regime with ease. Honorable Ma'am, PRARAMBH has been conceived in that spirit. It is our outreach and facilitation initiative to ensure that the movement to the new regime is smooth, informed, and reassuring for taxpayers and stakeholders across the country. It reflects our conviction that a major reform that must be accompanied by equal attention to communication, guidance, and handholding. Our effort is to ensure that the change is experienced not as uncertainty, but as clarity, not as apprehension, but as confidence. At the heart of this effort is a simple belief: reform must be understood before it can be fully embraced. The true success of the new law lies not only in its enactment, but in how clearly it is communicated, how easily is it accessed, and how confidently it is adopted by the people it is meant to serve. For any reform to succeed, awareness must reach people in forms that are simple, relatable, and accessible. And that is why this outreach spans multiple platforms, multiple languages, and multiple modes of engagement, so that the message of simplification reaches every section of our stakeholder community. That is why PRARAMBH brings together a wide range of communication and outreach initiatives. These include multimedia campaigns across print, radio, television, and outdoor media, educational brochures, and FAQs in multiple Indian languages, and digital tools designed to make the new Act and new forms easier to understand and use. The system enablement for this transition will also be rolled out in phased manner. Our objective is to ensure that the taxpayers experience the new regime through responsive, technology-enabled, and user-friendly systems. Through the new website, digital guidance tools, and other taxpayer-facing digital services, we seek to make compliance simpler, access easier, and taxpayer services more seamless. And at the same time, we recognize that today's taxpayer expects services that are not only accurate, but also prompt, convenient, and technology-enabled. And the department has therefore sought to combine legal reform with digital facilitation so that support is available in a manner suited to contemporary needs. It is with this objective that we are launching Kar Sathi, with Kar denoting tax and Sathi standing for Smart Assistant for automated, timely help and information. Kar Sathi is an AI-enabled chatbot designed to provide prompt and authentic assistance to taxpayers on department's national website. It will be available around the clock, draw up verified drawn from the verified departmental sources and serve as an easy-to-approach companion for taxpayers seeking information on new act, rules, forms, and related queries. At the same time, we are conscious that not every taxpayer may have ready access to the internet or digital resources. Keeping this in mind, these services will be made available through Ayakar Seva Kendras at the income tax offices across the regions, so that assistance remains accessible to every taxpayer. This is important because the benefits of reform must reach every taxpayer regardless of location or level of digital familiarity. Accessibility must remain at the center of our implementation effort. This initiative reflects our broader commitment to make tax administration more citizen-centric, more technology-driven, and more responsive to taxpayer needs. It is not only about answering questions, it is about building confidence, reducing apprehension, and making compliance easier and more seamless. In many ways, this effort is guided by the spirit of Nagarik Devo Bhava. The citizen must remain at the center of our work. Every reform, every form, every digital tool, and every communication initiative must ultimately serve the taxpayer with clarity, dignity, and respect. Ultimately, the success of the Income Tax Act 2025 will be measured not only by its text, but by the confidence with which the taxpayers are able to engage with it. That confidence can be built through timely guidance, responsive systems, and continued commitment to taxpayer service. Ma'am, we feel that the PRARAMBH will serve as an important bridge between reform and understanding, and will help make the transition to the new Act smooth, inclusive, and taxpayer-friendly. Before I close, it may be recalled that we started the exercise in August 2024. I would take this opportunity to thank all my colleagues in the department and the Ministry of Law, who have put in their heart and soul in completing the entire exercise of drafting the new Act, new rules, and new forms in a time-bound manner within 22 months of instituting this exercise. With these words, I once again welcome you all and thank you for joining us on this important occasion. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful and inspiring address. Your leadership has been instrumental in shaping the vision and rollout of the new Income Tax Act, as well as in driving this transformative outreach initiative.
आदरणीय अतिथियों, नया आयकर अधिनियम 2025 जो 1 अप्रैल 2026 से प्रभावी होने जा रहा है, भारत की कर प्रणाली को अधिक सरल, आधुनिक और करदाता हितैषी बनाने की दिशा में एक महत्वपूर्ण मील का पत्थर सिद्ध होगा। यह अधिनियम न केवल कर ढांचे को सुव्यवस्थित करेगा, बल्कि सुगमता और विश्वास पर आधारित एक सशक्त और आधुनिक कर व्यवस्था की ओर देश को अग्रसर करेगा।
To ensure widespread awareness and meaningful engagement with this new legislation, the Income Tax Department has undertaken several initiatives aimed at educating, informing, and connecting with the citizens through a range of outreach efforts. To provide further insights into these initiatives, I would now like to invite Member IT CBDT, Shri Sanjay Bahadur, to kindly address the gathering.
Honorable Finance Minister of India, Revenue Secretary, Chairman, Central Board of Direct Taxes, fellow members of the board, esteemed guests and colleagues, it is my privilege to present the communication and outreach initiatives of PRARAMBH 2026. We begin this with the release of the creative content under PRARAMBH. Inspired by the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister for Viksit Bharat and guided by the leadership of the Honorable Finance Minister, the Income Tax Act 2025 marks a significant milestone in India's reform journey. As part of this outreach, the department has prepared a documentary that chronicles the making of this landmark exercise, capturing the collective effort, institutional learning, and spirit of teamwork that shaped this transition. In addition, a multimedia campaign spanning print, radio, television, and outdoor media has been designed to build awareness about the key features of the new Act. The department has also leveraged AI to create short animated videos explaining its salient features and new forms. May I now request the Honorable Finance Minister to kindly formally release the multimedia content for PRARAMBH.
और हमारे सामने वो बड़ा लक्ष्य है साल 2047 2047 तक विकसित भारत का निर्माण.
I am now announcing a comprehensive review of the Income Tax Act 1961.
My first job was to onboard a team.
Say hello to simplified income tax forms.
For joining us today in this session on declarations filed by the stakeholders.
काल का बढ़ता ये क्रम
सरल हुआ कर अधिनियम नवाचार तकनीक का संगम
विकसित भारत के सपनों का संगम
सरल हुआ कर अधिनियम
सरल कानून सशक्त भारत आयकर अधिनियम 2025 1 अप्रैल 2026 से लागू.
Madam, PRARAMBH also acknowledges that the transition from the Income Tax Act 1961 to the 2025 Act may require additional hand-holding to address taxpayers' concerns. Madam, for this purpose, the department has prepared a comprehensive compendium of frequently asked questions detailing the interplay between the provisions of the old and the new Act. This compendium has been titled Kar Setu, as it will serve as a bridge between old and the new Act. May I now request the Honorable Finance Minister to kindly formally release the FAQ for PRARAMBH. Thank you, ma'am. Further, a study was undertaken to identify the most frequently used forms that have undergone changes, and comprehensive, easy-to-understand brochures have been prepared. Madam, I am pleased to share that these brochures are being released simultaneously today in 10 regional languages, in addition to English and Hindi, ensuring extensive outreach across the country. May I now request the Honorable Finance Minister to kindly formally release the brochures for PRARAMBH. Thank you, ma'am. We are delighted to share that today also marks the release of an educative animated book called Madhukar Explains, based on the Income Tax Act 2025. This idea was conceived during our collaboration with the students of the Indian Institute of Mass Communication and subsequently developed into a full-fledged initiative. We are honored to inform you that the department has collaborated with CBSE to disseminate this material to over 31,000 schools across the country, reaching millions of students. CBSE has been a valued collaborator in the past as well, with a series of 8 educative animated books on financial literacy reaching over 35,000 schools nationwide. May I now request the Honorable Finance Minister to kindly formally launch this new chapter in the series of educative material for future nation builders. Thank you, ma'am. The future of Bharat rests in the hands of its youths. Our campaign not only includes educational content, but also public engagement initiatives such as a nationwide quiz hosted on the MyGov portal. This quiz aims to create awareness among young citizens about the features of the Income Tax Act 2025 in an engaging and interactive manner. May I now request the Honorable Finance Minister to kindly formally launch the quiz on the MyGov portal. Thank you, ma'am. The Income Tax Department remains committed to providing taxpayers with technologically advanced solutions ranging from e-filing of returns and tax payments to faceless assessments and integrated taxpayer services. In line with this commitment, the department has developed the new Income Tax Website 2.0, which introduces several advanced features for the benefits of the taxpayers. May I now request the Honorable Finance Minister to kindly launch the Income Tax Website 2.0.
In a nation rapidly advancing toward digital governance, access to clear and reliable tax information is essential. For millions of taxpayers across India, that access begins with one trusted destination. Welcome to the revamped national website of the Income Tax Department. Website 2.0, a modern, secure and intuitive platform designed to make tax information simpler, clearer and more accessible for everyone. Website 2.0 introduces a range of user-centric features designed to enhance accessibility, convenience, and taxpayer support. Accessibility support for specially abled persons, including screen reader compatibility and high contrast viewing options.
Even मैं भी इसे easily use कर सकता हूँ.
A parallel reading facility that enables users to easily compare provisions of the Income Tax Act 1961 with the Income Tax Act 2025. FAQs and guidance notes on new tax provisions are available to facilitate users. Stay updated with important announcements by subscribing to tax updates through tax feeds and newsletters. In alignment with the nation's vision for embracing AI and digital governance, the Income Tax Department proudly introduces Kar Sathi, your smart AI tax companion. Kar Sathi is an AI-powered chatbot designed to serve as a single-window digital companion which provide quick, reliable and user-friendly assistance for queries related to all income tax matters, anytime, anywhere. Website 2.0 also introduces a suite of practical tools to make tax compliance easier. A tax reckoner for simplified explanations of key provisions. A form wizard guiding users through multiple tax forms. Tax tutorials and reference tables for easy understanding of tax provisions. Various tax calculation tools to help users understand and calculate their taxes easily. Children's Corner to make tax education engaging and interesting for younger audiences. The revamped national website serves as a single source of truth for acts, rules, circulars, notifications, press releases, regional office information, and the tax calendar. With smart navigation and intelligent search capabilities, users can locate the right information quickly and effortlessly. Income Tax Department also introduces Aayakar Setu 2.0, a login-free mobile application designed to keep oneself updated with due dates and tax laws and rules. The National Website 2.0 is more than a digital upgrade, a smarter platform for a confident, compliant and digitally empowered India.
Thank you, ma'am.
बहुत बहुत आभार महोदय। हमें विश्वास है कि जागरूकता अभियान का यह प्रयास नए आयकर अधिनियम की भावना को जन जन तक पहुंचाएगा। इसी विश्वास के साथ इस अभियान के सफल क्रियान्वयन की कामना करते हैं। कार्यक्रम के अगले चरण में बढ़ते हुए अब अवसर है एक ऐसे ऐतिहासिक पल को स्मरण करने का। संसद में नए आयकर विधेयक की प्रस्तुति भारत की कर व्यवस्था के विकास में एक ऐतिहासिक और मील का पत्थर सिद्ध हुई। एक ऐसा क्षण जिसमें दूरदर्शी नेतृत्व और एक आधुनिक, सरल एवं प्रभावी कर प्रणाली के निर्माण का दृढ़ संकल्प स्पष्ट रूप से परिलक्षित होता है। इस महत्वपूर्ण और ऐतिहासिक पल को अब सांस्कृतिक संसाधन और प्रशिक्षण केंद्र यानी CCRT के प्रख्यात कलाकारों द्वारा रचित एक उत्कृष्ट चित्र के माध्यम से सजीव रूप में अंकित किया गया है।
The painting depicts the Honorable Finance Minister presenting the new income tax bill in the Parliament on the 13th of February 2025, symbolizing a landmark step in India's journey of tax reform. May I now request respected Chairman Sir and members of CBDT to kindly present this portrait as a mark of our admiration and respect for this historic milestone in India's tax administration. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Moving forward, over the years, stakeholder engagement has remained central to the department's approach in shaping tax policy and administration. Continuing this collaborative approach, the department has once again engaged with stakeholders today. Prior to this formal launch of the outreach campaign, 4 dedicated verticals interacted with representatives from various domains, ensuring that their perspectives are meaningfully captured. To present a brief overview of these deliberations, I now invite Member Legislation CBDT, Shri Prasenjit Singh.
And Namaskar. Honorable Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, Madam, respected dignitaries on the dais, esteemed guests, senior officers, colleagues, and officers trainees of the 79th batch of IRS. At the very outset, I take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to the Honorable FM Madam for her guidance in rollout of the IT Act 2025 and IT Rules 2026. Before this inaugural session, ma'am, 4 thematic sessions were held today on TDS, international taxation, exemption provisions, compliance management by reporting entities and reporting financial institutions. The emphasis in each session was on thematic presentations on the new provisions, new rules, and forms as part of the stakeholders' outreach program. The stakeholders from industries, PSUs, government bodies, professional bodies such as CII, ICAI, NASSCOM, FICCI, legal firms, NPOs were represented by educational societies, charitable trusts, health foundations, and reporting entities such as banks, cooperative banks, SROs, and officers from the Income Tax Department and officers trainees from the 79th batch of IRS attended these thematic sessions. The presentations were made by the officers who are directly involved in the drafting of the new act, as well as the rules and forms. The discussion focused on key reforms introduced in the Income Tax Act and Income Tax Rules 2026, and the rationale behind such changes. The redesigned forms were also highlighted as being more structured, user-friendly, and easing compliance. The session witnessed active participation from stakeholders who appreciated the new act, rules, and forms for their structured and forward-looking approach, as well as use of simple, clear, and easy-to-understand language, facilitating better compliance. The stakeholders raised queries, particularly relating to transition from the existing provisions under the Income Tax 1961 to the new regime under the Income Tax Act 2025, including transition provisions, The specific issues such as validity of the lower deduction certificates for payments to be received on or after 1st April 2026, continuity of the registrations under the exemptions provisions were raised. These issues were satisfactorily clarified during the interactive sessions, leading to enhanced understanding and greater confidence among the stakeholders. The interaction reflects active stakeholders' engagement and valuable feedback, with participants expressing admiration for the structured and calibrated outreach initiative, which is viewed as a significant step towards enhancing awareness, facilitating compliance, and ensuring effective implementation of the framework of the new Act, rules, and forms. Thank you, ma'am. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
धन्यवाद सर आपके बहुमूल्य वक्तव्य के लिए। अब हम बढ़ते हैं कार्यक्रम के अगले चरण में। माननीय अतिथिगण, देवियों और सज्जनों, किसी भी अभियान की वास्तविक सफलता केवल उसके क्रियान्वयन में नहीं, बल्कि उससे जुड़े हितधारकों के अनुभवों, सुझावों और सहभागिता में निहित होती है। इसी भावना के साथ अब हम कार्यक्रम के एक अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण और सारगर्भित सत्र की ओर अग्रसर हो रहे हैं, जहां हम थीमेटिक सत्रों से प्राप्त हितधारकों की प्रतिक्रिया को आमंत्रित कर रहे हैं।
To present the feedback from these thematic sessions, I would like to begin by inviting the stakeholder from the I&CI vertical, Mr. Sanjay Kumar Agarwal, Chartered Accountant.
Honorable Finance Minister, Minister of Corporate Affairs and Finance, Chairman CBDT, board members, respected professionals, departmental representatives, and seniors. Let me begin that the thematic session for which we were there for last few days was organized by the I&CI about filing various forms which they have changed because of the Income Tax Act. And beautifully they have explained that forms which they are coming, including how the transition period will be there. However, this is something which we continue to interact with them from the I&CI also, and we have already explained to them that we have given our feedback on various forms which has been launched today and various rules which have been launched today. We have given the entire feedback and the timely. The journey began in July 24, ma'am, when you announced in the Parliament that new Act will come. And less than 2 years by today, when we launched about the rules and regulations of this particular Income Tax Act. This PRARAMBH and the launches which we have seen today, they are the work which have been done in the back. But few of the compliments which I would like to extend about the nudge which has resulted into a non-intrusive taxpayers' response, and the data which we have come to know from the public domain that around 40,000 taxpayers have withdrawn their false claims, and they have paid around 1,045 crores on that. Around 29,000 crores have been disclosed in the foreign asset. And also with this nudge campaign, which I say that has to be more and more friendly, and it is to be in time, the 8,800 crores of additional tax is recovered in 2 years. Around 1.1 crore of the taxpayers have revised their return with this non-intrusive, no reassessment, only self-compliance. The second compliment, ma'am,
about the recent decriminalization of the prosecution and the penalties. This is going to be a great effort in this particular move of the government, and the fast disclosure scheme of the foreign taxation will be also. The challenge which we will face both as professional as a taxpayer, that whenever any dispute which will come because of the simplification of the language, that has to be addressed very fast on a fast-track mode, and we request that some mechanism should be there for that particular resolution. With this, thank you very much.
बहुत बहुत आभार। अब मैं आमंत्रित कर रहा हूं टीडीएस वर्टिकल के अंतर्गत अर्नस्ट एंड यंग से श्री अमित मोहनिया जी को कि वे आएं और अपने विचार प्रस्तुत करें।
Hi. Good evening, Honorable Finance Minister Madam, Chairman, CBDT and CBIC, Revenue Secretary Sir, members and senior officers and esteemed professional colleagues and distinguished guests. It is a true honor to stand before you today. I extend my warm greetings on this occasion of the introduction of new income tax rules and act today. Today's historic day, this is a major reform that will reshape the Indian tax system from April onwards. The reforms are rooted in the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, who has consistently encouraged simplification of Indian tax system that will reshape the country in the time to come. Honorable Finance Minister Madam, in the budget speech 24, you have explained that new overall commented full review of the Income Tax Act. Madam, I also recall your speech on the Income Tax Day celebration held in the same campus in July 25. In your speech, you have highlighted many reforms brought by this government over past few years, and today we are witnessing one of the major changes, and I'm sure that will play a key role towards Viksit Bharat 2047. I would like to thank deeply to every officers and team member who worked tirelessly on this initiative. Without your contribution, this milestone would not have been achieved. Before this session, we had a breakout session on TDS matter, and I have been given responsibility by Mr. Anand Kedia sir, CCIG TDS today, to share key points to TDS. I offer my special thanks to him for this opportunity. While we fully understand that changes will take time, but these are necessary, so I am bringing 2-3 points. Firstly, there is a change in the terms of timing, though there is a policy shift. Further, there is a change in the timing of the high-value goods LRS payments, overseas tour packages. Earlier, TDS was deducted on the receipt basis, but now it will be a debit or receipt, whichever is earlier. This may lead to full TDS being collected upfront, affecting cash flow. A suitable clarification would help whether this shift is intentional or not. Secondly, coming to the next issue, dealing with the shift of policy, the timing of filing of TDS currency statement has been reduced, even though earlier drafts keep it for 6 years. The shorter period may cause a problem like merger, acquisitions, simple clarification error, retroman, and this reconsideration will limit would certainly ease the undue hardship. Now, Madam, I would like to draw a specific attention on in respect of limited provision of the Income Tax Act, which may require some change in the Act in the time to come. Entire TDS litigation is roaming around this only. As a taxpayer practice, we create a year-end tax provision on estimated basis without crystallized liability for identified taxpayer. I understand and appreciate that there is a revenue concern around it, and we had a multiple discussion in the last 10-15 years, but still the issue persists. So I request if this can be considered in the time to come. Lastly but not least, I would like to highlight TDS on 26B. In old cases, the assessee is not getting interest from the date of payment. They are getting interest from the date of filing of the 26B, which seems to be inappropriate with them. Suitable changes may kindly be considered. PM, I understand now ball in our court. We have to implement. Database very high. So industry need time for implementation for the new SAP modules, Oracle modules. So compliance's burden in initial quarter may kindly be relaxed by the board. to help us to implement system more effective in time to come and to reduce litigation. Madam, on behalf of all tax professionals, I would like to assure you that our full support implementation with the new law more effectively and efficiently. We are ready to work with the government to achieve our common goals. Thank you once again for giving me this opportunity to present our feedback, which reflect our commitment to a positive and cooperative approach, smooth implementation of the new Income Tax Act and rules. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable feedback. I would now like to call the stakeholder from the exemptions vertical, Ms. Renu Suri, Chartered Accountant, to provide her feedback.
Honorable Finance Minister and other members on the dais, I sincerely thank ma'am you for initiating taking the initiative to simplify the new Income Tax Act, especially introducing simplification procedures and provisions for the NPOs, because philanthropy is something where people are actually not very friendly with most of the acts and provisions, because there are many smaller organizations who are operating in the country who do not have access to chartered accountants or professional guidance, so they need simplification and need standardization of the processes. I'm specifically talking about many philanthropic organizations. Right now, I'm associated with Neeraj Chopra Foundation, who is the Olympian, and he has started an initiative, but he himself was also not aware of many of these smaller things which he would have, if he would have read it, so he would not have understood it from the sections and other things. So I really thank all the team members from the Income Tax Department and other members on the dais also to simplify these things. And I'm really delighted, because hearing from the mouth of those people who have actually enacted and who have been involved in this activity of simplification, and to explaining us all those processes is something which is very good. Those thematic sessions were very informative. So I'll just highlight a few things which were discussed during the thematic session. I think there was certain, there is a data which shows that there are 9.2 crore returns are filed, but out of which only 2.5 lakhs are the NPO returns, which is a very small, minuscule thing. But yes, that this shows that there might be a revenue leakage, and to stop this revenue leakage, guardrails were required. So keeping in mind, things have been streamlined. Things have been systematized, things have been standardized, so that people are more aware of and go towards the compliance part, and they are not afraid of the income tax and other things. So by simplification, I'll say that race redundancy have been taken care of. There are removal of redundant sections, so which have been, this is simplification of language which has been used, tabular forms have been used, formulas which have been used. I'm really happy to see those forms which were shown to us, and yes, those were very comfortable. I think people would be happy to do more, will be more compliant if they will be using those forms, and that will be easier for them. Consolidation of most of the sections into, which were earlier into, I think, 5 chapters. Now consolidating them into one single chapter of 17B is a welcome step, because that gives a kind of a sequencing of all the sections, and people will be more aware of that, okay, what has to be done, because earlier everything was scattered. Now keeping that sequencing is very comfortable from 1 to 7, if I'll say, as explained in the thematic session, registration, income, commercial activities, compliance, violations, everything is made very clear. People are very comfortable. Universal nomenclature has been used, which is actually good, because that will help us in accepting, getting acceptance from the international fields also. Then reducing burden on the smaller NPOs is something which is very welcome step. Decluttering of the act is something which was required. So that has been done. Then provisions and rules, they have been consolidated. Like forms, earlier there were 16 forms, now there are only 14 forms. Yes, rules, which was 16 rules, and now there are only 14 rules. Reduction of compliance burden is something which is going to be very helpful. I think I'll not take much time, but again, thank ma'am and all of you for giving me this opportunity to explain all these things. Thank you.
थैंक यू फॉर योर वैल्यूबल फीडबैक मैम। अब मैं आमंत्रित करता हूं अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कराधान यानी इंटरनेशनल टैक्सेशन वर्टिकल के अंतर्गत अर्नेस्ट एंड यंग से श्री विजय अय्यर को कि वो आएं और अपने सुझाव पेश करें।
Honorable Finance Minister ma'am, Honorable Revenue Secretary sir, senior dignitaries, senior officials of the department, and friends. Good evening. I first want to commend on this initiative of this outreach event. It is an initiation of a process, and we are very happy to collaborate in this process over the next 3-4 months to bring in more awareness about the new law, to be able to bring in more people into understanding the new law and all the changes that have come as a result of these changes. We had a very interesting breakout session for international tax and transfer pricing. We went through the new changes in the rules. We also had an open session where all the stakeholders raised their concerns. The people from the Income Tax Department, they clarified a lot of the points. I think this is the beginning of a new collaborative approach where the tax department and the stakeholders will work together to have a more transparent, friendly, and more effective tax administration and a tax process. There were 2 key areas that we discussed. One was on the safe harbor rules. Ma'am, you had announced it in the budget, a very attractive safe harbor of 15.5% for the IT services. So there were some questions. A lot of those questions had actually got addressed in the new rules that got introduced this morning. So the taxpayer fraternity was very happy. We believe that a lot of the concerns have been addressed. We are looking forward to a very effective engagement where the safe harbors will really help bring in more jobs into India, take India up the value chain, and take us towards the Viksit Bharat. The second area of initiative that we discussed was on the APAs. APA has been a very strong area where we have built a strong collaboration between the taxpayers and the tax department. It is one of the best initiatives of the government towards a non-adversarial tax regime. Taxpayers are transparent, the tax authorities are friendly, and I think we have come up with an exceptional output in the APA regime. Now we are going on to the next phase of this, where there is a time-bound plan to try and resolve these APAs in a short time. This is very attractive for diligent taxpayers. Of course, taxpayers who are not collaborative, who are not supportive, will have some delays. But a collaborative approach here, where there are diligent taxpayers who want to get their things done, will find that APAs get done well within time, and that's very attractive. So we are all looking forward to this collaboration, both on the outreach as well as implementing the rules in the future, and a new tax system in India which is friendly, transparent, and collaborative. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I would like to thank all the stakeholders for their meaningful participation and valuable feedback. Moving forward, the Income Tax Department under Ministry of Finance has undertaken significant reforms aimed at strengthening India's tax administration and enhancing taxpayer trust. Supporting this vision with dedication and resolve, respected Revenue Secretary Sir has played a pivotal role in driving key reforms and strengthening the implementation framework of these initiatives. It is now my privilege to invite the respected Revenue Secretary, Shri Arvind Srivastav, to address this distinguished gathering.
Honorable Finance Minister, Chairman and members of the Central Board of Direct Taxes, Chairman and members of the CBIC, leaders from the industry and tax stakeholder community, other senior dignitaries, colleagues from the two tax departments, dear probationers, representatives of media and friends. It's a pleasure to be here today as we mark an important step in our tax reform journey. The Income Tax Act 2025 reflects a conscious effort to make our tax system simpler, clearer, and easier to understand. It is not just transposition of the old act, but a fundamental change in approach from interpretative complexity to clarity and straightforward formulation. As a result, it is intended to become friendly to all the users. Success of a reform of this scale depends on how well it is internalized and implemented on the ground. Over the last few months, the department has diligently worked to prepare for this transition. This has meant finalizing the rules and forms as per the new law, but equally importantly, it has been ensured that the officers across the country are properly trained and are ready to support a seamless transition. It is a big responsibility on all our colleagues in the field formations, as they are the face and the carrier of this change at the grassroots level. Our effort has been to move from information being just available to information being actually accessible. A wide range of simple, easy to understand material has been developed. FAQs, brochures, and guidance notes to explain the changes and how it affects different stakeholders. These have been prepared in various regional languages, and I hope this would enable message to reach every person equitably. I am happy that we are also trying to communicate in ways that people find more relatable today. The idea is to reach out to taxpayers where they are and in formats that they are comfortable with. Through Samvad sessions, you will hear directly from the officers who are a part of the drafting teams, using short videos, social media, and even QR codes to make information easier to access. There is also outreach to the next generation, because understanding of law begins with an early awareness. Educational content has been designed for our youth so that understanding about tax becomes a natural part of their learning. Going forward, this effort is planned to expand further. A nationwide campaign will run across multiple platforms, and more than 300 workshops will be held across the country. This is envisaged to be an ongoing dialogue. This will not just inform, but also listen, so that feedback from stakeholder continues to shape our approach. I hope that all the stakeholders will make the full use of these avenues. As we move ahead, our effort will be to ensure that this transition is smooth, concerns are addressed timely, for every taxpayer to feel comfortable with the changes and with the new system. Today's event, PRARAMBH 2026, is in a very real sense a beginning of a more open, more responsive, and more simplified tax system, a beginning where reform is accompanied with accountability and policy is strengthened by participation. I'm sure that by this trust-based collaborative partnership, the vision behind this reform will truly translate as a real positive experience of all the stakeholders on the ground. I look forward to all of us working closely in this remarkable journey. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful remarks. Your guidance will greatly assist the department in the effective implementation of the new Income Tax Act.
और अब वह बहुप्रतीक्षित क्षण हमारे समक्ष उपस्थित है, जिसकी प्रतीक्षा हम सभी उत्सुकता और गर्व के साथ कर रहे हैं। हम सब के लिए ये अत्यंत गौरव और सौभाग्य का विषय है कि आज वित्त मंत्री जी के रूप में हमारे बीच ऐसी विलक्षण एवं प्रेरणास्पद व्यक्तित्व की गरिमामयी उपस्थिति है, जिनके दूरदर्शी नेतृत्व ने भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था को न केवल नई दिशा और नई गति प्रदान की है, बल्कि उसमें नव ऊर्जा और आत्मविश्वास का संचार भी किया है।
Guided by this visionary leadership, India's tax system is undergoing a transformation, evolving into a framework that is simpler in design, transparent in its approach, and firmly anchored in the principles of trust and taxpayer convenience. It is now our collective privilege and honor to invite the Honorable Union Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, to kindly address this august gathering.
Good evening and namaskar. Revenue Secretary was on the dais, the Chairman and also the members of CBDT, Chairman, members of the CBIC, former Chairman of both the boards and officers, probationers, invited guests, stakeholders, and also the media. It's a very gratifying moment when you stand before officials who have really performed in the last 1 year extraordinarily. I say extraordinarily because within 1 year, that is 2025, the Department of Revenue has seen such intense work. The CBDT did its own. The PRARAMBH is speaking about it today, bringing a new Income Tax Act. The CBIC was not left behind. They did the massive exercise of the GST 2.0, the new GST. And before the financial year could end, although there's some more work left, customs from the CBIC is also going through rapid changes, all keeping in mind the taxpayer. And one department, the Department of Revenue and the two boards, have delivered on the promises which were given to the people during, let us say, one budget in July 24, and the other, which we just tabled, which is yet waiting in terms of the finance bill to get passed in the Parliament. In independent India's history, probably this is the first time a department has done such, overhauling of both direct tax and indirect tax, and the intense work which the officers have done is absolutely praiseworthy. So it gives me gratification to stand here. And keeping with today's requirement, we're not just bringing simpler laws, we're not just bringing simpler rules, we're also engaging with stakeholders. We're also providing materials for people of different strata of the society to see what is happening. We're also making awareness campaigns. We're going to schools, colleges, talking to children to be aware of what tax does for the country. So in a way, 21st century has really brought in so much of difference and so much of change in the way in which government officials, departments, particularly those which have been perceived as being very rigorous, very regressive, very inward-looking, are doing the outreach and making sure that information is with everybody. So you're catching up with the times, probably you're on the top of the times, probably setting up some kind of a template for many others to follow. So I'm grateful that this launch has happened. particularly during very auspicious Navratra period. And anything started during this period will, I'm sure, find good acceptability and deliver on giving positive results to our people. So the Income Tax Act 2025 obviously replaces the 1961 Act in making it simpler and fair and clear, with all these instruments which are also being given for people to use it, will certainly set the trend for India to be seen as a very tax-friendly country. Of course, there are many more things to go along with it, but that's for a bit later. And even more important, and this is something which the media would have noticed, that from 1st April 2026 is when this new tax is going to be coming into effect. But well before that, the department has taken all the efforts to make sure multilingual outreach is happening. Digital platforms are ready for you to try and also ask questions, communicate, have a two-way sharing of information, questioning, and so on. So it was explained by the chairman, but it's worth repeating. So I would like to say a few things about what actually is this Income Tax Act of 2025. Over 4,000 amendments across 65 finance acts made the 1961 Income Tax Act a maze. It got accumulated. Nobody intended it to make a complex act. Originally, probably it was very simple. But year after year, it kept accumulating. So a collection of 4,000 amendments made it very complex. And I think we've heard this before, worth repeating again. 5.12 lakh words across 819 sections and 47 chapters. Frighteningly big. So the common citizen every year had to cope with the changes. It wasn't easy. But the language was also dense because it happened over decades. And English, the official version, and Hindi, the official version, per se were also changing, evolving. So the Indian English and Hindi also, Hindi also had to accumulate its vocabulary and be simpler equally. So the Union Budget of July 2024 was when the promise was made to the nation that we'll come up with something simpler, and that is where the new act has come up. Work done in record 6 months, involving nearly, I'm surprised to say this, but I'll say, 75,000 person hours dedicated by the income tax officials to get this act done. And once when the cabinet cleared it, we went to the parliament to table it. It was sent to a select committee of 31 members of parliament who looked into it. They were from different political spectrum all across. And it was headed by Sri Baijayant Panda. A word of thanks to him in front of all of you. In record time, with intense number of meetings, bringing stakeholders from all over, the select committee which looked into this bill before it was brought back to the parliament had done an extraordinary work, as much as you officers did in making up this law. So the committee recommended 196 different points, of which 184 were accepted and made into, or the changes were made into the tabled act and then taken up later for discussion and passing. So actually the policy intent is underlined. Extensive consultation in the making of the law and also through the parliamentarians during the select committee. A lot of collaboration and commitment is what resulted in this particular act which got obviously passed. For those who still ask what actually has changed, is it the same thing which you've recast in 21st century language? No, it is important for us to understand that every section has been recast, chapters have been changed, words have been cut down, and modern day approach of explaining through tables, explaining through formulae, explaining through examples, have all been part of this act. They become part. So if you look at the sections, 819 sections have now come down to be 536 only. Thank you. 819 sections has come down to be 536 only. 47 chapters have come down to be 23 chapters. 5.12 lakh words is now only half, 2.6 lakh words. I wished it was even lesser. And then I said 40 new tables have been brought in to explain, and so on. I believe it is less ambiguous, and therefore the temptation to reach the courts and ask them for an interpretation should be far lesser now. And I think in a way, it lowers errors, disputes, and compliance costs. It also shifts behavior from avoidance. If the law is simple and you're able to understand it, it shifts behavior from avoidance or confusion to voluntary compliance. And that's what I would expect. There are many more things that you can say. It's predictable, it is trust-based system now, and so on. But if I were to look at it from the point of view of a salaried individual, the confusing distinction between the previous year and the assessment year has been abolished. We now have a single unified tax year. Today, most of the individual taxpayers have already moved to the new tax regime. That tells you something. When you give people simplicity, they embrace it willingly. Under the new act, for the small business owners too, there's so much. We've heard the stakeholders speak each from their own domain expertise. India's small business owners and professionals are really the engine of our economy. So under the new act, the presumptive taxation scheme has been strengthened. Businesses with turnover up to 10 crore rupees, provided their cash receipts are below 5%, are now exempt from maintaining detailed books and undergoing tax audit. This should come as a big relief for all the MSME units, because most often they are not very clear, they think it's so complex, and therefore they have to seek the assistance of a tax audit. But then if this is so simple in the new act, I think it's a relief for them. And for, let's say, the home buyers, pre-construction interest on housing loans is now explicitly available for both self-occupied and let-out properties. This was a matter of dispute under the old act, and so many times I've heard people tell me about that's how complex it is. Under the new law, it is settled. It's literally black and white, and therefore it shouldn't lead to any confusion. Now, about PRARAMBH, which is happening today, I thought it was very clever, whoever coined it, policy reform and responsible action for Mission Vikasit Bharat, and therefore PRARAMBH. I think PRARAMBH itself is fine, but then imagine they had to bring this behind it, and therefore it's fine for the officers who are looking for what exactly is PRARAMBH, and those of us who have a problem saying, why should it be a Sanskrit word? Why can't it be anything else? There's some justification saying it is PRARAMBH because it's an acronym, and so it's all right. So the income tax website 2.0, which got launched today, is more intuitive, I understand, accessible and taxpayer friendly. We are also launching educational content and a huge FAQ, which is also user friendly because the answers are small. Questions may be several, but answers are fairly simply done. So there are also sessions, samvad, and so on. I'm not getting into that. Physical outreach is also going to be happening. Now, with all this said, I'd like to take this opportunity to convey my little message to the Income Tax Department. You're not just tax collectors. You're the face of the government's relationship with the taxpayer. I've said this before also, I think. Sorry for repeating, but they are words which have so much of an important message. And therefore, since you're the face of the government's relationship with the taxpayer, this new law gives you a clearer and leaner framework to make it simple, to make it simpler for people who want to understand it better. However, a good law alone is not enough. So it must be administered with empathy, fairness, and efficiency. I expect every officer to internalize the spirit of this new law. Internalize the spirit of this new law. The spirit is simple. And I'm sure by now several times, the officers must have themselves been discussing among one another. The taxpayer is not your adversary. Please, let's appreciate this. You understand it, but I want you to appreciate it. The taxpayer is not your adversary. The taxpayer is your partner in nation building. So I think the new law is one thing. It's got passed. It is now effective from 2026, 1st April. But I want a new approach, a new mindset. Look at somebody who comes and sits before you as a partner with you in nation building rather than an adversary. I urge income tax officers to treat this PRARAMBH as an opportunity to embrace this fresh mindset. And those probationers who have come here today, who have joined here today, I'm so happy that they are here. You are starting anew, but you are starting afresh. I want you all to have that mindset, and therefore that is important that, I'm not very good in Hindi, but my team has a lot of people who are Hindi speakers. And they said, ma'am, would you mind saying something? I said, what? There's a film song. I said, oh, no, please. I'm zero in that. Whether it is in Hindi or Telugu or Tamil, I'm not very good. He said, no, you must say this because it's so appropriate. And when I read it, actually, I remembered that song, which is very old, but I also thought it might be nice for you to hear it from me. Pardon my pronunciation. Chodo kal ki baatein. Yeah. Am I saying it right? But there's more. Chodo kal ki baatein, kal ki baat purani. आओ मिलकर लिखेंगे हम इनकम टैक्स की नई कहानी. And I understand that the name of the film from where this has come is so appropriate for us, Hum Hindustani. So, and that was from 1960, 60-61 Act. So many beautiful coincidences. So I think it's nice time. Chodo kal ki baatein. Let's all be facilitators. And I'm sure we'll be able to bring in that freshness that a taxpayer looks at you as a partner and doesn't get scared. I want the day when a taxpayer says, hey, this is Ugadi. I mean, for us, it was Ugadi yesterday, right? Naya Samvats for Hindi. So I would have expected a time, I hope for a time, when I, as a simple taxpayer, would come with that Ugadi pachadi. We make a kind of a chutney with neem ka flower, mango, gourd, salt, all Navarasa, that kind, all kinds of tastes into it, so that you are ready to face a full new year, which may have bitter things, which may have sweet things, which may have, somewhat khatta things. So you mentally prepare. But if your relationship with your tax officer is so good, I, as a Telugu, would have come with Ugadi Pachadi and said, hi, New Year, come, let's share this. And have a mild chat and go away. But I suppose till today, the atmosphere was, my God, no, better not take it to him. He might see the kadua and I might see the good. Nobody would want it. That atmosphere should change. I should feel comfortable to come and say, hello, IT officer, I've come to say hello, Nava Varsh ka Shubhkamnaye. I'm sure this year you'll have good collection. And just go away after that without any sense of suspicion or fear or anything like that. That's the mindset change I would like to see from all of you all. It's an opportunity to build trust. We need less litigation. So our underlying thought with the new act should be that I trust the taxpayer. If I made it simple and there's no need for him to come to me, everything runs digitally, I should have less temptation to take things to the court. If there is a need, call him or her and talk and explain, so that when avoidance is less, when evasion is taken care of, you wouldn't have every little aberration to be taken to the court at all. So I would think it is necessary to build trust, reduce the need for litigation, use technology to minimize human interface, but never lose that humane touch. That should be the new Income Tax Act 2025. Make taxpayers' life easy. As I said, they are not your adversary. So with that, I'll have 6 broad expectations from all of you, if I may say that. And it's an expectation of myself also, being here with you all. The first one is implement the Samvad sessions with sincerity. Reach every corner of the country, and not just as metros, but not just the tier 1 cities, literally every district and every tehsil. So a small businessman from Darbhanga, or a young professional from Coimbatore, or a trader from, let's say, Tinsukia, or a CA from Churu in Rajasthan, all of them should be approached. There's no way in which you can, sit back this year and say, it's all right, we've launched and we had a brilliant program in Vigyan Bhavan. Make sure you reach everywhere. Use simple language, use local language, and every medium available, digital, print, radio, social media, everything should be used. My second expectation, reduce litigation aggressively. With clearer provisions, there should be a measurable reduction in disputes. So every case that goes to a tribunal, now this is going to be hard for you to accept, but I will say it nevertheless. Every case that goes to a tribunal or a court is a failure of our system. You have not been able to simplify it for them. You have not been able to explain it to them. And as a result, people go. And I want to look at it as a black mark on myself. You wouldn't care anything about it, but I would say a black mark on all of us. Simplified law. Since after 1961 and in 2025, we are still not able to make it simple for people to understand and implement. So it'll be a poor reflection on ourselves. Provide clarity and justify the demand that you have put forth. I understand it's not going to be spiked up demands, from now at least realistic demands. So if we are fighting for every rupee, but spending 50 rupee for fighting for every rupee, are we helping ourselves? So I would think it'll be our failure if we fail to convince the SSC about what you have demanded. just and fair is what I need to have in practice. The third one, respect the taxpayers' time and efforts. Use technology to minimize the need of any human interaction. Unless absolutely necessary, respond to queries efficiently without ever requiring the person to come to the income tax department. I would want that to be the gold standard that each one of you all would aspire to adopt. The fourth one, we must proactively engage with the youth of this country. You have young officers joining today, the probationers. They and all of us must engage with the youth. I expect the probationers also to do this. Can we all have an institutionalized, and this is a question I would put to the chairman of the board, can we have an institutionalized young professionals in CBDT, such as technologists, economists, data scientists, chartered accountants, and legal researchers into tax administration, reform, and analytics project? Do a project, get all of them together, tell what is going on the ground, and get the feedback, and make it institutionalized young professional in CBDT. Youth-led tax tech innovation and hackathons, innovation challenges can be developed in collaboration with the ICAI, IITs, IIMs, NLUs, and technology institutions to develop AI-driven solutions for compliance simplification and also for fraud detection. So in order to have that, you should have a youth-led innovation, tax tech innovation, and also hackathons. Of course, you've already started, I repeat, tax literacy campaigns for next generation across universities, professional institutes, and also startup ecosystems will be helpful. Now, we can have youth policy labs and young tax innovators forums to engage young professionals, startup founders, and early career tax practitioners in co-designing taxpayer services and compliance reforms. Fifth, the last but one, use technology to arrest evasion. I was looking for a better word than arrest, but I couldn't find. But I know what, I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say. We should restrain evasion, if I can use that word. Contain evasion. Make technology help you on it. Making paying tax so easy that honesty becomes the natural choice. But those who are willfully evading, those who are deliberately trying to get away, technology must catch them, but you should have the technology. If you're honest, the system will make your life easy, but if you're evading, the system will find you, is the message which should go to the taxpayer. And finally, the sixth, do not let this new act meet the same fate as the old one. Why do I say that? The Income Tax Act of 1961 started as a reasonably simple one. But year after year, provision after provision, exemption after exemption, it kept growing until it became 5.12 lakh words. We have now replaced it, thankfully. That, I don't know, disease, habit, what do you want to call it? That should not be allowed to repeat itself. Every time you think you want to do something with it, please sit back, consult. Don't come with a ready solution of bring an amendment. Let this act not become the 1961 Act, in that it piles on every year newer amendments and becomes a huge tome. Ensure that there are ways in which you are able to do some things without complex amendments coming into it. This should continue to remain simple. It must remain clear. You've had stakeholders and Parliament being very convinced that excellent work has been done in getting this simpler version of Income Tax Act. Let that not be, disappointed. Let the people not be disappointed or disillusionment about revenue officials should not set in because you're going on adding to the new simple law. The guidance I would have for myself, without taking too much of your time, is I had heard from Prime Minister Modi a speech in which he said Manav. It's a vision that he put forth to have a human-centric digital era. I think it was in that AI conference that he spoke about it, where, very simply, M stands for moral and ethical system. A stands for accountable governance. N stands for national sovereignty. A again stands for accessible and inclusive AI, because we are going to use AI. We need to have ethical AI. We need to have accessible AI. We need to have inclusive AI. And lastly, the last letter, V, valid and legitimate systems. So I think Income Tax Act 2025 must be rooted in moral and ethical systems. We need to strengthen and protect national sovereignty, fiscal national sovereignty. And of course, the reforms are not just data-driven, they are valid, legitimate systems that you're building on the trust of, or in trust with the taxpayer. So this is a great vision. April 1st is not too far. All of us have done too much between the time the act has been passed until today. Ensure that we succeed. I extend my sincere appreciation to the entire CBDT, the Department of Revenue, tax professionals, officers, and staff, honorable members of Parliament, and all stakeholders, including industry representatives, experts, and contributors, whose collective effort, insights, and dedication has shaped the new Income Tax Act. It is for all of us now to make it a part of our life and make it so simple that taxpayers would now be breathing a sigh of relief. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am, for this inspiring address.
आभार माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी, आपके दूरदर्शी एवं प्रेरणादायी विचारों के लिए हम हृदय से आपका आभार व्यक्त करते हैं। आपके उद्बोधन ने न केवल वर्तमान आर्थिक परिदृश्य को स्पष्ट किया, बल्कि भविष्य की दिशा में भी एक सशक्त मार्गदर्शन प्रदान किया है। आपके शब्द हम सभी के लिए प्रेरणा का स्रोत है, जो हमें राष्ट्र निर्माण में अपनी भूमिका को और अधिक समर्पण एवं उत्तरदायित्व के साथ निभाने के लिए प्रोत्साहित करते हैं। एक बार पुनः हम माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी का इस गरिमामयी अवसर पर अपने बहुमूल्य विचार साझा करने हेतु हार्दिक धन्यवाद एवं अभिनंदन ज्ञापित करते हैं।
The successful culmination of an event of this significance is made possible through the collective effort, dedication, and invaluable contributions of numerous individuals and teams. To formally place on record our gratitude, I now have the honor to invite Member TPS and Revenue CBDT Srimati G. Aparna Rao to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Honorable Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman Madam, respected Revenue Secretary Sir, respected Chairman CBDT, my colleague members, respected senior officers and dignitaries, distinguished guests, and my dear friends, sabhi ko mera sadar pranam. As we draw the curtains on PRARAMBH 2026, I stand before you with a profound sense of gratitude. As our Honorable Madam has just now mentioned, PRARAMBH 2026 coincides with the auspicious Chaitra Navaratri, which marks the beginning of the lunar New Year and the traditional Indian New Years like Ugadi, Gudi Padwa, etc., which signify the beginning of a new hope and renewal. I deem it an honor and privilege to convey our deepest gratitude and thanks to our Honorable Finance Minister, Madam, for the gracious presence here today and the visionary leadership. I convey my sincere and deepest profound gratitude on behalf of the CBDT and the entire tax fraternity, ma'am. Yatho dharmas tatho jayaha means where there is dharma, there is victory. Our Honorable FM Madam, by being an embodiment of the true ethos of dharma and righteousness, her unimpeachable integrity and a resolute commitment to the nation, Madam has set the highest benchmark for all of us, which empowered us in creating and drafting the new IT Act 2025. Madam's simplicity, wisdom, discipline, dedication, and unwavering support have been pillars of strength, support, confidence, and inspiration to all of us, which has made the vision of Saral Kanun possible. We are eternally grateful to you and indebted to you, Madam. Thank you so much. We are extremely grateful to Revenue Secretary, sir, whose meticulous guidance and steadfast commitment to systemic reform have been the bridge between the policy vision and the implementation of the IT Act 2025. With his leadership qualities as outlined in Kautilya's Ardhasastra, that is Suchi, Daksha, Prajna, and Dhrudabhakti, the Sir has been a guiding force in the successful and smooth implementation of this transition. Thank you so much, sir. Our deepest gratitude to the Chairman CBDT, whose exemplary leadership and tireless dedication has paved the way for the smooth and successful rollout of the historic IT Act 2025. Sir, your eye for minute detailing has ensured precision and quality of the Saral Kanun. Thank you so much, sir. We are greatly honored by the presence of the senior officers of the department who are in important assignments in the Government of India, the chairman and members of CBIC and other organizations, dignitaries whose valued presence has enhanced the program's spirit and the spirit today. Thank you so much. My special thanks to the Secretary, CBSE, for the continued support in reaching out to the future taxpayers of the country. My special thanks also goes to MyGov CEO for providing the platform for public participation. We are indeed grateful to the officers of CBC, Prasar Bharati, Doordarshan, and PIB for the continued support and unstinting support to us in this outreach of this reform. Thank you so much. We also appreciate the valuable contribution of the young students of Indian Institute of Mass Communication who have helped us in coming out with the comic strip which has been released today. We are also thankful to our systems, technical team, and the infrastructural partners for building the digital spine of the citizen-centric system and ensuring transparent administration. Thank you so much. We are also thankful and extremely grateful to all the stakeholders, the ICAI, the ICWAI, the Chambers of Commerce, and all the members of the other professional tax fraternities whose valuable insights and constructive feedback have been very instrumental in shaping the IT Act 2025. Your active participation in the thematic sessions today have been very enriching, and they have been very fruitful and purposeful. Thank you so much. Our sincere thanks also to the members of the press and the media for their objective coverage and for taking the message and conveying the message of Saral Kanun and the PRARAMBH 2026 to every corner of the country. I'm extremely thankful to all the officers and officials of the department who have coordinated and conducted the thematic sessions in a very interesting and thought-provoking manner. An event of this magnitude would not be possible without the support, help, and assistance of Principal CCIT Delhi and his entire team of dedicated officers and staff. Our sincere appreciation for all those who have worked behind the scenes. At this juncture, we also fondly remember all the members of the various committees constituted for drafting the IT Bill 2025. We all know that they have come out with the new draft in a record time with their dedicated efforts and by burning midnight oil. We also thank the officers and staff of the Principal DG Admin and TPS. I have personally seen that they have put in tremendous hard work in the past many days, whether it is bringing out the creative content, in framing the FAQs, the meticulous planning, which has resulted in the smooth conduct and organization of this event. I would also like to convey my sincere thanks and gratitude to the officers and officials of the Office of Finance Minister and the Office of Revenue Secretary for their continued support and guidance and valuable support to us whenever required. We have with us the bright and young probationers of the latest batch of IRS, and we are extremely overwhelmed by their active participation here today. We also convey our deep appreciation for the team from CCRT for the soulful rendition of the Saraswati Vandana and the talented artist for the beautiful painting of our Honorable FM Madam. Our thanks also to the Directorate of Estates for facilitating this magnificent Vigyan Bhavan for today's program. Lastly, our deep gratitude to the honest taxpayers of India. As Honorable Madam said, we have to treat the taxpayers with empathy, and in this philosophy, we are guided by the ancient wisdom laid down in chapter 71, verse 17 of Shanti Parva of the epic, the Mahabharata, which says, Yo hi dogdrim upastecha sanityam vindate payaha, meaning, who treats the cow with kindness obtains milk. Likewise, the ruler who rules with kindness and right means always obtains the desired results. As per the Madam's advice, we treat our taxpayers with trust and respect, and today we rededicate ourselves to provide citizen-centric, transparent, simple tax administration, thereby moving towards making the dream of our Honorable Prime Minister, sir, of Vikasit Bharat a reality. Thank you one and all. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request everyone to kindly rise for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग। विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग। तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे। गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Everyone is requested to kindly remain seated till the dignitaries leave. Everyone is requested to stay back for the national song. Kindly rise for the national song.
वंदे मातरम वंदे मातरम। सुजलां सुफलां मलयज शीतलां। सस्यश्यामला मातरम वंदे मातरम। शुभ्रजोत्स्नां पुलकितयामिनी। कुसुमित द्रुमदल शोभिनी। सुहासिनी सुमधुर भाषिणी। सुखदां वरदां मातरं वन्दे मातरम्। कोटि कोटि कंठ कल कल निनाद कराले। कोटि कोटि भुज धृत कर कर वाले। अबला के नो मांगे तो बले। बहुबल धरणी नमामि तरणी। रिपुदल वरणी मातरं वन्दे मातरम्। तुमि वेद्या तुमि धर्मा। तुम हृदयी तुमि मर्मा। त्वमहि प्राणा शरीरे। बहुते तुमि मा शक्ति। हृदये तुमि मा भक्ति। तुम्हारोई प्रतिमा गणि मंदिरे मंदिरे। मातरं वन्दे मातरम्। त्वमहि दुर्गा दश प्रहरण धारिणी। कमला कमलदल विहारिणी। वाणी विद्यादायिनी। नमामि त्वां नमामि कमलां अमलां अतुलां सुजलां सुफलां मातरं वन्दे मातरम्। श्यामला सरला सुष्मिता भूषिता धरणी भरणी मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरं।
ऐतिहासिक अवसर प्रारंभ 2026 में सहभागिता के लिए हार्दिक आभार।
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone is now cordially invited to join us for high tea. Senior officials can proceed to the atrium while everyone else can join us at the foyer.